After 20 minutes of hockey here, Buffalo Junior Sabres have a 1-0 lead over Hamilton. I'm now joined by Peca, the general manager of the Buffalo Junior Sabres. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I just want to talk about the series first off. What are your thoughts? Your team's up 2-0. You guys are up right now. What's your team thinking right now?
Well, I mean, the clinching game, they say, is always the hardest one to win. And, you know, despite being down 2-0, 3 out of 5 series, you know, the Hamilton kids are going to come out with a lot of vigor. They did early on. They played a pretty good first period. Now, they've only got 13 skaters and 1 goaltender, so their numbers aren't very good for them, but they're playing hard and they're playing with a lot of character. So we got to just make sure we continue to pile it on, not make it easy for them, put pucks behind their defense, make them earn it, and hopefully at some point in this game we can get a couple more goals and affect their will to want to compete.
You mentioned about short benches with Hamilton. It's definitely been a thing for Hamilton Red Wings the last month. What brought you to the OJHL, and why are you with Buffalo?
Well, the youth hockey circle in Buffalo now is a pretty close-knit group. You know, being a Sabres alumnus myself, and with the Junior Sabres being operated by the Sabres alumni, it was a perfect fit. You know, I coach youth hockey, but I wanted to get more involved in the junior program, and you know, the OJHL is a terrific league, and anything we can do to help promote, which our team is predominantly Western New York area kids, anything we can do to help promote them and get them moving on to the next level, I wanted to be a part of.
Recently, there was an announcement made about coaching changes and job positioning changing for next season. What's going to be going on with you next year?
Next year I'll be full-time coach along with being the general manager. So yeah, I've been on the ice a lot this year. The more I was on the ice, the more I enjoyed that part of it. Coaching and teaching's always been the part that I love most. So I'm looking forward to getting there to do that next year.
What's your plans and overall future goal with this team here?
You know what, just to be as competitive as we can. You know, the program's been slowly building the last 5 years since the alumni's taken it over, and there's a lot of great hockey players in Western New York, but what we're finding now is there's a lot of interest, not just nationwide in the United States, but in Ontario as well, with you know, people are going to start to be interested in the Junior Sabres program and want to be a part of it, and you know, hopefully someday, obviously our goal is to have a team capable of competing for an RBC Cup. I mean, I think every team in our league strives for that.
I want to talk about some of the key players on your team. We saw in that period there with Bennett leaving the game. What were your thoughts on that play there?
You know what, I thought it was a bit of a sensitive call with him flipping the puck up and it hitting the mesh. You know, for a league that's trying to promote young hockey players for the next level, they dish out a lot of suspensions, a lot of game misconducts, and a lot of penalties, preventing them from showcasing themselves. But you know, regardless of the penalty, you can't react the way he did and got a further penalty on that. But you know what? We got to keep our cool. We were in the box too often in that first period. If we want to put Hamilton away tonight, we got to stay at the penalty box.
Looking with the roster that you have now, who do you see being a key part for the Buffalo Junior Sabres in the years to come?
Well, that's hard to tell. You know, in the United States, it's a little different dynamic than in Ontario because kids get drafted into the USHL, which is a Tier 1 junior league. So a lot of times those kids will want to go there to further showcase themselves. The league is a step above the OJHL, and sometimes kids want to do that. But, you know, we've got some kids that have already committed to D1 school, so maybe it won't be necessarily a priority for them, and they'll realize that they'll be able to develop just fine in our program.
I just want to talk quickly about your career. What was it like to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, being a hometown guy from Toronto? What was that like?
It was exciting. You know, I wish it could have come earlier in my career. You know, unfortunately, it was more towards the end of my career, so I didn't get to enjoy it for as long as I would have liked. But nor did I get to play in the Maple Leaf Gardens. And, you know, when I think of the Toronto Maple Leafs growing up, I think of Maple Leaf Gardens. But getting to represent that organization was great.
You were really close to winning a Stanley Cup twice, once with Buffalo, once with Edmonton. Which one strikes you the most?
The one that hurts the most is with Edmonton. You know, in Buffalo we lost in Game 6, and we were in a game where we didn't have a chance to win the Stanley Cup, only to prolong it to a Game 7. Where in Edmonton we had it there. In Game 7 we had an opportunity in a game to win the Stanley Cup, and not a lot of days go by, you know, where I don't think about that game still.
Salt Lake City 2002, you won gold medal with Canada. Would you say that was your biggest moment in your hockey career?
Yeah, when I look back and reflect, it's one of the greatest achievements. There's no doubt about it. You know, not just playing in the Olympics and winning a gold medal, but getting to play with Steve Eisner, my childhood idol, Mary Lemieux, and Joe Sakic, Al McInnes, and a lot of great players. I mean, it was just almost a thrill just to be a part of that team, but to win it was obviously very special.
Hey, I want to thank you coming on for the Indy 101 broadcast here at the first intermission. Just good luck to you and your team, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
You bet. Thanks so much.
Thank you.